I do not understand how most of the news agencies in our region have been promoting this guy, Dave Portnoy, a racist, a sexist. Uh, Dave Portnoy sold his Barstool Sports business for $388 million and then brought back in for $1. It's just crazy because the fact that the news media, all these news agencies and newspapers, are promoting this guy who advocates the rape of women, who has made all these sex tapes on the internet. I had to analyze it and look at the fact that all these Republican candidates that were running for office for the state assembly, as well as local races, we met them early on and asked them to come out and serve the public. We also invited the people from the Democratic Party and from the Schenectady County Legislature. The only ones that showed up were these Republicans that were running for office, like Joe Mastriani, Rich Amador, Alexandra Valeja, who is friends with former colony judge Crummy, who is the Republican town supervisor there. Eric Hess came out from the Schenectady County Legislature, and Josh Cuomo. Alexandra Valeja, who was running for office, she just stayed in the parking lot with Rich Amador event. We had to continually go out and ask them to come in and do what they had promised to do, which was to serve pizza. When I went to Sicily, first I flew to Rome in February of this year, 2023, and there I found out from a bunch of guys that have businesses here in upstate New York that Rich Amador was a former state trooper who rallied 30 of his state troopers to harass these business owners with several New York State trooper cars and harassing their family. And we also found out that not only Rich Amador, who was running for assembly and lost, that these guys ended up having to take the state troopers in New York State to court. And when they went to court, they actually won their case. They not only won damages for all the harassment and stalking, they also won the case in having their legal fees paid for by the state. So I guess now there's been this secret agenda to bring Dave Portnoy into the area to try to upstage the pizza event that we make no money on, and that we founded in last year in 2022. This year it's our second annual, and we do this event because my fiance's father was a Korean War veteran. Her late father was a Korean War veteran. He also was an Amsterdam police officer for many years and is well liked in the Saginaw Lake area. Also, too, my parents my late parents are veterans. My mother served in Frankfurt, Germany, in the Army Security Agency post World War II, and my father served in Italy during World War II. He was in the Army Air Corps, and both uh, high esteemed Foreign Service military officers came back here honorably discharged and served their community. My younger brother, I do this event for because my mother passed on February 3rd, 2021, and my younger brother, who was a veteran and served all over distinguishedly, he died 4 months. He died 4 months after our mother, who was in hospice, and I got to be at her bedside. So, and these women have come forward to now expose him. And look how the media doesn't highlight that. Instead, the mass media is promoting this guy because the Saratoga racetrack brings in a lot of money. And Ray O'Connor, deputy supervisor, Saratoga National Bank, 35 years, part of MLB Construction Services, which builds homes all in those affluent areas. They want to attract more people like the Bobby Flays and the David Portnoys to buy houses in Saratoga. facing literally in view of the track because there's big money in it, big money. So they'll put aside ethics. And in fact, this guy, Ray O'Connor, who was introduced as a so-called published author on WTN on Friday, October 6, 2023, instead of the fact that he's a sitting councilman. This guy, it was all a scam on WTN because Ray O'Connor, as a banker, obviously, he's part of this Arrow Financial Services, Wall Street investment firms, hedge funds, and David Portnoy himself, the sex advocate and rape of women, he sold his Barstool Sports for $388 million to bankers, hedge fund guys like Ray O'Connor, who is a long-time 35-plus year banker, Saratoga National Bank, and now Portnoy is building a home in Saratoga, and of course, they want to welcome him with open arms. Bethel Full Gospel Church in Rotterdam, New York, who preaches entire sermons. Bethel Full Gospel, with his anger and controversy, not following 1 Timothy 2:8, which God says in every place of worship, he wants men and women to pray and to worship with holy hands lifted up to God, free from anger and controversy. Portnoy is building a house in Saratoga. I can only believe that the reason why Michelle Viola-Straight, the executive director of the Veterans and Community Housing Coalition, who is married to a police officer, I can only believe the only reason why she did not pre-sell the second annual pasta and pizza event coupons for dining out, the public dining out during the month of October, is because the fact that this was a whole setup from her to not support the event simply because I refused to try to set me up to come on the show to be the scapegoat for Michelle Viola-Straight and her secret agenda. And then when I refused to come on the show, Michelle Viola-Straight decided to change the segment the day before. This news segment was planned a week earlier for Michelle to promote the pasta and pizza event. So the fact that I didn't come on this setup show, then they did not mention the pasta and pizza event, which 100% of all the dining out goes to the Veterans and Community Housing Coalition. We do not make a penny on this event. This is the second year we have waived our management fee. We printed all the posters. We designed and printed all the t-shirts. We did all the marketing, all the pop-up events, starting back in August to make the Veterans and Community Housing Coalition fundraiser a success. But instead, because of Michelle's relationship with political candidates Ron Schlag, who is friends with Pastor Steve Fody of Bethel Full Gospel, and Chad McFarland, who the three of them tried to overrun the Board of Education meeting, Draper Mahonison School District, and then Pastor Steve Fody from Bethel Full Gospel had for several weeks a series called Culture Wars. We have done months and months of promotion. We have gone into our own pocket to pay to make sure that they were set up for success, to have a whole month-long fundraising event. And in fact, they were supposed to sell all the coupons by September 30th, and they would have raised $5,000 for their organization. Been non-responsive. She has not assigned any of her staffers to pre-sell the coupons, but instead, on October 6th, she wanted me to come on TV to be the scapegoat for why she didn't do her job.
So much for sticking with us out there. It's time for this week's Community Corner. Our veterans, they've done so much for us, protecting our freedoms and our country. And one local group is trying to give back, especially to people who served that are experiencing a hard time right now. I'm joined currently by Viola-Straight from the Veterans and Community Housing Coalition and author Ray O'Connor. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Now, sadly, we know that veterans, they are more predispositioned to being homeless, according to the VA, because they've been through things that none of us can even understand experiencing. Michelle, what are some of those factors that contribute to homelessness for veterans?
So basically, when you come out of the service, you are discharged as homeless. So a lot of men and women go into the service because they want a better life. They want a better quality of life. When you're discharged, you're basically discharged with a backpack, a sea bag, and you have to rebuild your life. And that's where a lot of the pieces come into play.
And we're talking about an astonishing number. 50,000 veterans are currently homeless. That's heartbreaking. And here in the Capital Region, 600 of them are homeless. Now, what does your housing coalition do for those veterans that are seeking care?
Permanent housing. The key is case management service, and that's where the magic happens. That continued connection that we have with our veterans and families.
Now, you're also the chairman for the biggest fundraising event as well. How can people get involved, Ray, and why should they go to this Veterans Ball?
Yeah, first of all, it's a wonderful event. Everyone has a terrific time there. The cause, there couldn't be a better cause than supporting our veterans. And either through a sponsorship, buying tickets to the event, they're on sale now, and they can be purchased online through the Veterans and Community Housing Coalition website. Wonderful event. And it's sold out every year, so hurry up and get your tickets.
All right, so it's a good time to do it. Michelle, before we go to break, what is the date of that event? And again, where can people go to get those tickets and support your incredibly important cause?
Absolutely. So go to our website, vchcny.org, and you can find all the information there. The date of the ball is November 5th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Hall of Springs, and we would love to have everybody to come.
Amazing. Thank you both for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Pastor Steve Fody for over 2 years to keep politics out of Jesus Christ's pulpit.